I was never somebody who was wishy-washy or you didn't know what you were going to get. I treated people fairly and I was reliable. That, a loyal person to them, And listen, those people are your family and they're your friends. You don't have to hang out with them every night or do anything. You see them more than you see your family.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
And now when you go, not in Bobby's case, but in most, like you were saying, when people die, they go from 100 to 0.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. The 0 to 100 ain't really good, and the 100 to 0 isn't good.
I think it's worse.
I agree. But one thing I will say is when you enter a life of service and you do it for the right reasons, and you said earlier it's a vocation. It really is a vocation. But your life is on loan to the community. It's not for purchase. It's a lease deal. It's not forever.
Too many people sell it.
Yeah.
They do. They sell their soul.
And, like I said, I gave everything. But when you're in a job that requires body armor, that's what separates us from other people too. We have to be prepared to die, and then we also have to be prepared to take a life. Two very different things. But that body armor that we build over time, we build mental and emotional armor as well. So the physical armor we put on physically protects us, but then that mental and emotional ability to not just fall apart on scenes, we do it to protect ourselves, but that can be isolating. That can be a wall that we put up for our family, our friends. You get on the job, there's certain people that you have to leave, right? Maybe not leave, but you got to keep them at arm's length. I can't be around you doing blow all night. It's just not in line. Not that I had a friend that did that.
Depends on what department you're in.
Yeah. I told you not to talk about our relationship. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It was just in the bathroom, though. I thought it stayed in the latrine. But
you pick your mirror up off the bed?
Yeah, but you leave or at least keep at arm's length.
I think
people.
What you're touching on. Yeah, listen, everybody had those friends.
Yeah,
but I think you were almost to the point where you were like, hey, listen, during the course of a police career, collectively, we do wear body armor every day. We do get into crazy shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're working either. It happens, and you accumulate all this shit.
Yeah.
You do, no matter how hard you try to, you might do your job fantastically every day of your career, or at least like a large percentage of it. But when it's all said and done, you're walking away with baggage. You're walking away with something that's on your mind. Things happened. And that's called PTS, and police PTS, as we went through, we have all the blocks and everything. We read about it and how it compares to military and police is a collective. It could be one instance,
But it's cumulative over time.
Cumulative over time.
Yeah.
Or it could be the whole body of work, I was fortunate,
Yeah.
I was fortunate that I didn't have to take anybody's life. And I had some near calls in my career, that you think about. Like every time something happens, you don't think about it when it happens. You think about it after it happens. Then the next thing happens, and you think about that thing that happened. And then it comes all together, So that's the other part about leaving the job, It's you did a life of service. It's not, listen, I'm not putting anybody down that works in the private sector. If I want to say this, and I just said this to somebody. If I worked for Cali Carting and I was hauling garbage every morning at 2 o'clock in the morning until 5 or 6 o'clock, whenever they worked their 4 hours and shit, I would have did that with the same amount of vigor and shit that I was a police officer. I just work hard. That's what I do. I want to work.
You've been a short timer now when did you make this decision to retire?
About 4 months ago.
4 months ago. So you've been a short timer for the last 4 months, an actively conscious short timer. How has it affected your police job? Have you wavered in any bit? Have you taken it easy on some stuff?
Double secret probation. That's what we call it. You don't get involved in anything. My captain, who I spoke about earlier, is a protector. We're built from the same core. We both protect. I protect. He protects. He's like, you're not getting involved in shit, and I don't want you in this unless it's an absolute go. And I need you out there, and you just go. It's like, And a few times I was out doing stuff, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm working with the guys." He's like, "But I got something for you to do in headquarters. Let's go." But staying productive too. I don't want to go out there. I'm sitting around, eating fucking hoagies and sipping on Coca-Cola. No, like I'm doing shit, But he doesn't want me.
I guess the thought process is he doesn't want you to catch a case where it's going to hold you up.
If you catch an IA and you can't retire.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I made it a career of not catching IAs, so that was a good thing. You know what I mean? So, I've been fortunate in that regard. So, but you never know.
So did it ever cross your mind, because being a football coach, that the likelihood of you getting hurt when you're not going 100% is higher. Did you ever think
I probably
about that?
could have fell out of the chair as I was getting up to fucking, go get my iced coffee that one of the patrolmen brought to me, like slipped or something. But besides that, I didn't really.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's when, in my opinion, when you stop going full bore.
I got more of a chance of getting hurt at the gym than I do on the job. I don't get hurt on the job.
Yeah.
Just something that I don't remember. I've been bruised and beat and all the stuff that happens to a cop that is active and isn't scared to. Well, I shouldn't say isn't scared. I've been scared my whole career on several different times. I was never afraid. I was never afraid. Scared just made me, and we talked about it with the SEAL. Scared just made me more aware of my surroundings and more focused. Stay alert, stay alive. You're scared, you're nervous, you got a pit in your stomach. It's like before a big game.
But that's courage.
Yes.
So,
but afraid is I'm paralyzed.
Yeah.
I can't move. Oh my God, what's going on? That, and then anxious. I never had that.
being courage is defined as being scared but going anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you do. You're scared, and even to take the next step, I'm sure there was some anxiety and some fear going in there, but eventually you're going to have to do it, because the process of retirement itself is a fucking nightmare. It's no fun. For me, there was a lot of anxiety going up because I had to go in front of the pension board. I wasn't sure if I was going to get my pension, and there was a different aspect to that. So your retirement process, did you have somebody working on it for you? You did it all yourself?
I got help from a couple of friends that were involved, but I went to a seminar and I did everything myself.
Yeah.
I went through the process. I did the waiver for, I did all this stuff with the benefits and beneficiaries and all that stuff. And then, the town submits. Our town's really good. They submitted everything. I still haven't got my final letter from them as how much my pension is, because they had sent me something in June. They haven't sent me something in July yet. So they have to update. They're notoriously slow. But I started the process fucking months and months ago, so I'm thinking I should be getting a check in August.
That'll be nice.
Well, that's what I planned it for. So I started it 3 months ago, so I would get this, so they'd have enough time, because slow. Down the slow train to Santa Fe out there. Let's go.
Although with Emboss being totally online now, it does make things a little bit
it tells
easier.
you what you're gonna get, and it's a good pension and everything, and then the new job is a good salary. That's nothing's coming out of the damn check except for taxes. So you really gonna net a lot more because nothing's coming out. In your check, your police check, it looks like the who's who of who's taking your fucking money. Right?
Yeah. The net pay is not the same.
Your kids have known nothing but Bobby or Dad, the cop. They know nothing but.
Well, now they're gonna know Bobby the cop who's in Hoboken. Bring me home some mozzarella.
It's different. It's really, really different, because this life transition affects them as well. When you decided to push the button, or whatever you fucking guys call it,
That's what we call it. It's smart. Pull the trigger. What do you?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Was it like a belly button or something? You guys over
Did
here.
you get support at home? Yeah. Did you get support at home, or did you get to like, hey, you sure you want to do
They
this?
were like, why the fuck? No, I'm only kidding. They, it was all like, hey, listen, this is what's best. You always do what's best. You know what I mean? I just think I've always did what's best. I worked a lot. Without getting into personal financial issues and stuff like that. I've always worked to try to make ends meet and do the best I can. So I wasn't never scared of that. Just go. Okay, got to do this, got to pull 16, come back the next day, get 4 hours rest, do another one, and I work Red Bull, whatever. I worked, I wasn't the top, but I worked a lot, and on top of like think about it, all the coaching and stuff like that. Now
It's a full
I
life.
don't do that anymore. I'm not coaching, so it's just been all work. The last 6 months, I've worked a lot. I worked a lot of overtime. I worked a lot of Red Bull, and now that's gone. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? I got 3 days left, and I'm most likely not gonna. I'm not going to work my last tour. I mean, I'm gonna walk out tomorrow, and then I got 3 days. I'm gonna go in one night and have dinner, but not work, like, cause I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, what? I can't do anything. I'm leaving the 31st. It's my official termination day. Then the August 1st is my retirement date. Why would I come back for the 3 days? You know what I mean?
So you have a reputation. You have a reputation that transcends Harrison, and you're going to be remembered. In 2 years, you're going to walk in that police department, and the whole face is going to change. It's just that's the way that it goes. But if you had a way to be remembered, how would you, Bobby Crudele, and I'm going to ask the same thing to you, how do you want to be remembered in the Harrison Police Department? And then I'll go back to you with how you want to be remembered in Montclair Police Department.
Yeah.
I want to say that I just would like to be remembered as someone who is reliable, and who was consistent, treated people the same way, treated my coworkers, my people the same way. I was never somebody who was wishy-washy or you didn't know what you were going to get. I treated people fairly, and I was reliable. A loyal person to them, And listen, those people are your family and they're your friends. You don't have to hang out with them every night or do anything. You see them more than you see your family. So that's what I would like, somebody you could depend on. I think that's my best thing. I mean, I don't care about all the awards and all the stuff that I did. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't care. I'm proud of it, Some of it I'm surprised by, but that's not what defines me. It's what people like to say. I don't care what you think of me. I don't give a shit what he thinks. I don't care what this guy thinks. But we do. And I've said this before on the podcast. We all care what people think about us. If you say you don't, I'm talking in general, collectively. I'm not talking about one specific person that you can't stand. Well, I don't give a fuck what he thinks either. But everybody, the people I work with, I care what they think of me. Do they think I was a good cop? Am I going to be one of those guys that you mentioned before? Guy did 25, load, didn't do anything, bullshit,
There's plenty of them.
I hope my reputation and what I did, and I didn't do it, nobody does a whole 25, 30 balls to the wall all the time, But I hope for what I did do, I made a difference, and I hope that people remember me like that.
Tom, what do you think? How do you want to be remembered?
Well, one thing sticks out about both of you to me is that you guys had a plan, right? A lot of guys don't have a plan.
Not really.
But there are things about both of you that brought people to you, wanting to be around you before you were ever a cop.
Well, he was bisexual, and that was a big thing back
It
then.
opens up the field.
It did open up a lot because a lot of guys were like, "Hey, I'm DL,
Listen,
but
I play the
would
odds.
you like, hey,
switch hitter. I mean, offense,
I'm
defense.
DL. Would you want to
Pitcher,
go?
catcher.
Car's got tints. What?
But you're a sports
Yes,
writer.
Governor McGreevy.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, he was a good dude.
I met him once. He seems nice to me.
But you guys have qualities: coaching, sports writer, author, podcaster, father. Those qualities that we kind of like put on the back burner while we're on the job, because at least for good guys.
Don't, because what happens is
You getting
then
the
he starts
attraction.
getting worried that, oh shit, I'm not special. You know what I mean? He is special. Let him be special. Can I just tell you something real quick? This is funny.
Go ahead.
It's funny. I'm on a surveillance, foot surveillance in Hoboken. When it was after McGreevy was outed and he wasn't in office anymore. And I'm in Hoboken and I'm on like Frank Sinatra Way or some shit like that. And I'm in a Starbucks and I'm watching the bad guy. And I'm on the phone with whoever's calling me, one of the detectives. I don't think I was a team leader. I think I was just a regular detective at the time. And they're like, yo, you see the guy? I said, yeah, he's right. He's across the thing. He's looking at his computer, blah, blah, blah. There's something going on. I forget what the even job was. And I look to my right and I go, oh, fuck. And they're like, what? I'm like, the Governor McGreevy's here with his boyfriend. It was like hysterical. And they're like, is he really? And I'm like, yeah. I go, I really want to go over to him and shake his hand. And fucking whoever's on the other side, what are you fucking nuts? You're going to burn yourself. Sit the fuck down. I go, well, if this guy leaves, I'm going over to McGreevy because I want to introduce myself, you know? And they're like, it was hilarious. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure I was working with Liz and maybe Lonnie. They're married now, but they might have been on my squad then. But there's a couple of guys and girls that I worked with that might have been working with me that day. And I was like, holy shit, he's fucking here. He's with his man. Like, it was great. I was going to go up to him. You know I was going to go up. I was going to be like, Governor McGreevy, Bobby Crudele, Harrison PD. Nice to meet you. Give him a little tickle with the finger. Anywai, go ahead. I just my little story. It is my retirement.
It is.
It's my party.
It's your spotlight.
I'll cry if I want to.
You can cry if you want to.
That's right. You earned it, man. But I think as far as you're talking about being remembered, and technically right now, like I'm active. I'm just suspended without pay, and it's not a good place to be because I believe I was a good cop, and the way I'd want to be remembered. And when we say boss in law enforcement, doesn't matter the rank. You know what I mean? I would like to be remembered. I never laid down. I never griped downward.
Been over men. A couple times, right?
Yeah, and I can't even expand on that.
We could talk about it later.
But I never laid down. I took the hard road. I stood my ground, and he said hard road. I got him. I'm sorry.
Rob Halpern.
But I want to be remembered as a leader, as a good boss, just a good boss, and I stuck up for the men as well as myself. A good leader, a boss.
I think, you know,
Not
a leader,
rank, but a boss.
No,
a good
you know,
boss.
I get it. You know, I always reframe. I learned from a supervisor that, like, we say that a lot. Hey, boss, whatever, boss. You know, it's just a term of endearment, right? Like,
it's a term of respect.
If you like the guy. If he's not, it's just
Hey,
Lieutenant,
sergeant, whatever. But I never liked when people called me boss. No mock on you. I just didn't like it because a boss is someone who tells you what to do, you know? And I was a leader. I led by example, and I let my people work. And I was like, I want you to go out and do the job. I don't want to tell you what to do. I'm here to guide you. I really am. Like, I worked for a supervisor that did everything and then told you to write the report.
Yeah,
And I used to drive me crazy. And I'd be like, well, what the fuck? You did everything. Why don't you write the fucking report? And he would tell me, write the goddamn report. But my thing was like, yo, I'm here to guide you to it. You got a question? I probably have the answer. And if I don't have the answer, there's a bunch of other guys in this department that are really sharp. I can call one of them.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to, just my thing is Tom Flynn. Maybe Tom Flynn's a brand new sergeant, and I've been sergeant for a while, but he's smart as a whip, and I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything. So I'm like, yo, this is what I do particularly well, but I don't know jack shit about this. Flynn, get your ass over here. What is this?
Yeah.
And like that shows people that it's okay to raise your hand and ask the question, you know. And I think new cops need to know that because.
Well, that's Socrates.
They get
Great.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
so
I don't know
great
nothing
boss.
about Socrates.
That's
now you're gonna start with
Socrates.
this Greek shit.
Yes, the only true knowledge is knowing that you know nothing. Right? That's exactly, and
Makes
that's
sense.
you're talking 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. So it's one of those maxims that's a truism throughout time.
Is he going to quote Marcus Aurelius next? What the fuck is going on
Stoicism.
here?
I have read Stoicisms by
Stoicism.
Marcus
Oh my
Aurelius. Yes,
God,
I
you're
have.
both killing me.
I can start whipping that stuff out.
Oh, I bet you can whip something else out too.
I can start. I can recite you Act 3, Scene 1 of Hamlet
Sicko.
if you want to.
That's right.
So I think for me, only thing I want people to know is I never passed the buck. I wasn't everybody's cup of tea. I wasn't, because when I was vocal about things that inside the department that I saw as egregious. So I was vocal about that. If you were fucking up, I would tell you, dude, you're fucking up. But getting back to that gut you want to talk about gut reaction? And I tell this to my kids. So we had a guy, I don't even know if the conviction came through. He was charged, and his locker was right next to mine. He was charged with 21 counts of sex with underage girls and coercion of witnesses. And
Last name Flynn?
he was a real fucking scumbag. And I never trusted the guy. I'm telling you right now, I never trusted the guy. There were times where him and I got into altercations where he went back and told the bosses, and I'm like, hey,
Come on.
is there any cameras? Did anybody see it? Well, it's his word against mine. That's all it is. But it was that gut feeling. It was that gut, and I was willing to stand up and say, something's fucked up about you, and I'm not just going to stay quiet. So that's how I want to be remembered. Hey, listen, like him or not, at least he stood up for what he believed in. At least he stood up for what he believed was right, and he wasn't willing to keep his mouth shut and be complicit. That's really all I got, because my police career wasn't long enough in order to build a full legacy like I wanted to. I would have loved to have been able to do 25 years, made rank, and done all that stuff, but unfortunately, I got put
It
right
wasn't
where I
in
was.
the cards like that. But you know what? You still served, and you know what? You almost gave your life because of it, and
Hell yeah.
that's enough.
But I'm happy where I am.
Yeah, and you are. You're happy, and you. I don't want to say anything, but you are kind of attractive.
So people are going to start coming to you, just like they would come to you with advice about police work. Pretty soon, you're going to have guys coming to you who you've worked with, say, "Hey, listen, Bobby, I'm looking to retire. What do you know about it?" So, what advice would you give somebody when it's time to push that button?
It's an individual choice. It's you have to look at everything. You have to look at everything. You got to see where you're at. Do you still have something left in the tank? That's another thing. For me, I knew I could keep doing this job where I was and do it where they had me. But at the same time, I had other opportunities and things that I needed to do that were better for everybody else involved, my family and everything else. So I made that choice because, part of being, I don't want to sound like I'm sacrificing, you know what I mean? But sacrifice is big. You sacrifice at this job, you sacrifice a lot being a cop. You really do.
Yep.
And I'm not going to get into the reasons, but anybody who does the job understands what the sacrifice is. And, if you do it right, and then about working extra and everything else. So I would tell the person, you have to be sure, if you love this job, then it's really hard. If you just look at it like it's a job and you made it, push the button and go sit in the school and wave at the kids and get you $30 an hour, and you'll be fine. Because there's lots of guys like that. They didn't really give a shit about the job. It was a job to them, and they made it. They never put themselves in situations where they weren't going to make it. They never did anything. And I'm not talking bad about these guys. It's just the way they were. And every department needs those guys, the guys that do like minimal, you know what I mean? But they're there. They're a body. They show up to work every fucking day, right? So you don't have to worry about them calling out sick and, we got to replace this guy, but he doesn't do anything. He shows up. So there's a plus side to everyone. Every cop does something particularly well, no matter if they're looked at like, wow, he's cop of the year or dud. You know what I'm saying? So if you love the job, then you have to really, it's a tough decision.
Because once you walk out that door,
you can't come back.
Once you collect that first check,
You can't come back.
that's it. It's very final.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. And then if you don't love the job, then it's easy. You're done. Just unless you're money hungry and you just don't want to leave and you think you can't leave. Those are the people, and I've seen this firsthand on my job. Those are the guys that hang around and they have all these excuses for not leaving. They got 30-something years on. They've been giving back to the pension. We need those guys, because they keep giving it back. They end up getting jammed up. Something happens, and then nothing. Then they get zip. They get zero, or they get just out with their pension. They're lucky, but their legacy is shot. Like, everybody remembers you for that one little thing you did because, what, you think you were invincible? That's the last thing us cops are these days.
Yeah.
You become the Brett Favre of the police department.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on just one season too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're coming to the end of this thing here, and my suffering in retirement and your suffering in retirement are far different. You know, you've served with honor, you've served a full career, and you're going through this process right now. And I know you're going to another job, but you're leaving your family. So there's some suffering involved in that. What do you think your suffering of retirement has taught you?
Gratitude. I'm so grateful for the relationships that I built over my career. The people that I knew that I came over to the Harrison Police Department with, and the people that I met after I was there. It's like I've known these guys, and even the people that I've just started working with over the last few years, even the ones that just got hired this last class, I get to know people fast. And if I like you, it just seems like, wow, I feel like I know this person 6 years, not 6 months. And though I value all that. I really do. I value everybody that's made an impact on my life in the Harrison Police Department, and I hope they feel the same thing about me. But that's going to be the biggest thing, like the little things, like walking up the stupid driveway, then hitting the fob and going in and saying to the girl, the clerk behind the desk, clerk, you know, just like stupid shit, and like just walking past and going down to my locker, and just those the little things matter. You know, everybody always says that the little things matter. It's not going to be the big job, the stuff, you know, all the crazy stuff, all the big time things, you know, cop of the year, all that shit. It's not that. It's those little things. It's like seeing the detectives and all those guys and just talking shit. The fun shit, you know, the stuff we did so much of that. The Harrison Police Department is a fun place to be at, regardless of what anybody says. My opinion of it is it's fun.
I haven't laid a coffee bomb in 11 years. So you know what a coffee bomb is? You know, so in the old Crown Vics, the push bar had the plate on there. If you take a half a cup of coffee, this was my thing. I'd take a half a cup of coffee and I'd put it on there. When that car gets up to about 35 miles an hour, that coffee will shoot up and hit their windshield, and it's the funniest fucking thing in the world.
I never did that.
Oh, it's the greatest thing in the
See,
world.
at our place, they'd smash into a brick wall or something like that because they're not good drivers. No, but, yeah, so like that's what I'm gonna remember. You know, those are the things.
I will tell you this: you leaving tomorrow is going to leave a big gaping hole, which will eventually be filled.
See what I'm talking about?
Oh my God!
And you say I'm the one saying the double
Big
entendres.
gaping hole. I'm gonna have Mike DePalma punch me in the face tomorrow. When I'm gonna say, Mike, right here, just punch me like Raging Bull. Hit me, just hit me in the face.
I will. I know there's going to be a
void.
huge hole in that department that will eventually fill. It'll that wound will heal, but you leaving tomorrow will leave a lasting imprint with the guys you worked with until they retire, and hopefully you led by example enough so they want to live up to your example. So I want to be the first one to congratulate you. I will be there tomorrow. I wouldn't miss it for the world. And I'm so proud of you. You're the last one of us that's active. Well, you're active, but sort of. You're like adjacent.
Oh, wait till this guy gets his job back. It's going to be a fucking nightmare. Look at me. He's going to walk around in his uniform, sleep in it.
He may be a true boss.
Yeah,
He may be the chief.
Hey, listen. They might have to give him. They got to give him all that back pay. We better go to Smith and Walensky's. That's all I know.
You got it.
Thank you guys very much for coming in tonight.
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
And that's going to do it for this episode of The Suffering Podcast, The Suffering of Retirement with Bobby Crudele and Tom Flynn. Let's think about all the stuff that we learned. When you do what you love, your whole career is a highlight reel. Reputation is everything. A life of service comes with baggage. Do you still have any gas in the tank? But most importantly, be grateful for your career. You earned it. And that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to go to popple.com, get your digital business card, put in the code TSP20 for a 20% discount. Follow us on all social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, OnlyFans. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson, and of course, follow the Suffering Podcast. We're going to see you on the next episode.